Hi everyone, this is me Osama Gazal. Welcome to my new YouTube channel and the channel that I just created to talk about everything product design related and UX. Recently, I've been talking to a lot of people and they just encouraged me to do it since this is already something that I do on a daily basis as a full-time product designer and UX educator or teacher. So why not just make a YouTube channel to document my journey and share one or two things that I know about the whole field. And of course, learn from you guys if you have any ideas or things that you want me to talk about as well. Okay, so first things first, how I became a product designer. That's a little bit of a long story. I actually started dabbling and trying to understand what's going on in this field back in 2013. I didn't have any design education backgrounds. I actually went to business school, and the first 3 years in my professional career, I was a retail banker and business analyst at HSBC. Then I do remember that around 2013, 2014, I started asking some of my friends who happened to be photographers and videographers, what am I supposed to do if I want to get into this field? To be completely honest with you guys, I never saw myself a full-time videographer or photographer or something like that. The only thing I had back then was the fact that in elementary and high school, I was always in the motion design team. I was doing a lot of painting, a lot of coloring, and when I got older in high school, I started using After Effects. I don't even remember if it was called After Effects back then, around 2005, 2006, but I do remember vividly that a friend of mine just introduced it to me, and I remember being I was like very intimidated by the interface. And it took me a long time to learn. To be honest, I'm not saying that to intimidate you guys if you want to learn more about After Effects, but that was me around 16 years ago. So that was pretty much the one connection between me and anything creative related. So I started asking a lot of my friends, and like even when I was a banker, I was helping a lot of them just editing videos and photos, and using Lightroom, Photoshop, After Effects. Those are pretty much the things that I kind of naturally grew over the years, being involved in this atmosphere somehow. But I never saw myself being a photographer or videographer. So I wanted to know what else can be done in this field. And a friend of mine encouraged me to take industrial design workshop that I didn't really like. I didn't enjoy at all. But the good thing about it was that I got introduced to the people who will later on become my first ever employer in product design. Those people are the ones who created an app studio in Los Angeles called Roadrocks LLC. And at the time, that was around late 2013, early 2014, they were looking for junior designers just to help facilitate the process between the product managers and the actual designer. They only had one designer at the time, and the software engineers. And that was pretty much me. Well, somebody happy with their car out there. Excuse that. So basically, that was a good opportunity for me. It was kind of a win-win situation because I wanted to learn, and I was very cheap product for them, right? I was a very affordable designer. They would pay me on a weekly basis, and I remember like getting paid around like $15 an hour or something like that. It was very helpful though, because simultaneously I was actually going to school to get my MBA degree in Miami. I have no idea what I was doing at the time, guys, so don't judge me, please. Even though I took a very strong decision that I'm leaving my life as a banker because I want to pursue this, I still, for some reason, went for MBA. But yeah, things just happen. I met great people. I learned a lot of things, so don't get me wrong. But it made no sense, to be honest. Now I'm thinking again about it, no freaking sense whatsoever. But I spent almost a year and a half working with them on a part-time basis, and it was a great experience, a great milestone for me, because in a year and a half, we managed to publish 3 mobile applications in the App Store. By the way, I will leave the link to their company down in the description if you wanted to check their apps. Pretty cool. Like after spending a year and a half with them, I knew that this is pretty much what I want to do. Like I've never seen myself an artist or photographer or videographer or something like that And for me, UX was pretty much the excellent middle ground I'm looking for. Something that lets me apply my qualitative research skills, everything I learned in business analysis. And even though business analysis has not that much into qualitative research, but again, it taught me a lot being in this environment and being a banker in general. On the one hand, and on the other hand, just being a little more creative and do things like create products from scratch as opposed to only filling in OKRs and KPI sheets and all that. Uh, um, didn't enjoy that at all, and not seeing myself enjoying this, even though in my current full-time job I have to do it. That's how corporate life is. Absolutely the least favorite part of my day job. So fast forward a couple of years later, I found myself working full time with this company. We published more than 17 mobile applications, and I learned a lot, tons of things. And I decided around 2019 to part ways with Roadrocks and just experiment with other things. And I got a couple of gigs, really good and interesting gigs here and there, like one of them in New York, some of them in Atlanta, and my recent job is here in Toronto, Ontario, is where I live. So I'm currently working as a senior product designer at the Globe and Mail. For those who don't know what the Globe and Mail is, it's basically one of the largest publishers here in Canada, and they compete with the likes of New York Times, CNBC, and Washington Post, and etc. etc. So even though it's Canadian, but they basically compete with those publishers. That's like what kind of impact the Globe and Mail has. Pretty cool. It has its pros and cons, of course, but on the side of that, I also do something that I'm really passionate about, which is teaching. I teach UX research and UX design in 2 online schools, Springboard and Design Lab. Pretty cool as well. If you guys are interested, feel free to check the links down below. And mentor on a couple of like Slack communities and websites. So you can find me on ADP List, you can find me on DesignX, UX Art Collective. So yeah, that's basically my journey and how I became a product designer. Recently decided, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, to create this YouTube channel and kind of document my journey. If you guys have any topics or ideas that you're passionate about or want to discuss with me or want me to talk about that pertains to product design and UX design in general, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I have a lot of plans ahead for my upcoming videos, so stay tuned and see you next time.